Israel again turned away from God, and he allowed the Philistines to rule over them for 40 years. Judges 13:1. But even in dark times, God had a plan. A man named Manoah and his wife could not have children. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to become pregnant and give birth to a son." Judges 13:3. The angel gave special instructions. She was not to drink wine or eat anything unclean, and her son must never cut his hair. He would be a Nazirite, set apart for God, and would begin to save Israel from the Philistines. Manoah wanted to understand more and prayed, and the angel returned. After explaining again, they offered a sacrifice. As the flames rose, the angel ascended in the fire. They were terrified, but the woman trusted. If the Lord had meant to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering. Judges 13:23. Soon, she gave birth to Samson. Even in our most broken seasons, God is preparing a solution. Samson's birth reminds us that deliverance often begins before we see the results. Trust God's timing, he sees the bigger picture. Judges 14, Samson's riddle and revenge. Samson grew up blessed by the Lord. When he became a man, he saw a Philistine woman and wanted to marry her. Though his parents were unsure, the Bible says, this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines. Judges 14:4. On his way to visit her, a lion attacked him. God's Spirit came upon him, and he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. Judges 14:6. Later, he found bees and honey in the lion's carcass. At the wedding, Samson gave the Philistines a riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat, out of the strong came something sweet. Judges 14:14. They couldn't solve it, so they threatened his wife until she told them the answer. Samson was furious. He said, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." Judges 14:18. To repay his debt, he killed 30 Philistines and gave their clothes to the winners. He left angry, and his wife was given to another man. Samson had great strength, but he also had a weakness for impulse and pride. God's will can still work through our flaws, but our choices still have consequences. Ask God for strength, not just in body, but in self-control. Judges 15, fire in the jawbone. Later, Samson returned with a gift for his wife, but found she had been given away. Enraged, he caught 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and burned the Philistines' crops. In revenge, the Philistines burned Samson's wife and her father. So Samson attacked them, saying, "This time I have a right to get even with the Philistines, I will really harm them." Judges 15:3. He retreated to a cave, but the Philistines demanded his capture. The men of Judah tied Samson up and handed him over. But as the Philistines approached, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. Judges 15:14. Broke the ropes and found a donkey's jawbone, using it to strike down 1,000 men. Afterward, he cried to God in thirst, saying, "You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst?" Judges 15:18. God opened a rock, and water came out. Samson's story reminds us that true strength comes from the Spirit of the Lord. Even when we feel abandoned or tired, God provides. Cry out to him, he hears. Samson's story begins with promise, a miraculous birth, a divine calling, and the power of God resting on him. But we also see a man who wrestled with pride, anger, and impulsive decisions. Still, God used him. Each chapter shows that even when people fail, God's purpose doesn't. Whether it was a lion, a riddle, a betrayal, or a battle, Samson's strength came from the Spirit of the Lord, not from his muscles or his hair alone. God raised up Samson to begin saving Israel, but his journey was far from perfect. That reminds us that God can work through imperfect people to accomplish his perfect plans. So, when you feel unqualified, broken, or far from your purpose, remember Samson. Ask for God's Spirit to guide your strength. Because in every season, God is still working, even through weakness.